Resonant Synthesis of Unconditioned Energy, Plasma to Matter, an open letter to the scientific community on the architecture of post-kinematic phase modulation. Subject: Applied phase modulation, zero-point dynamics, and post-kinematic manufacturing systems. For over a century, the foundation of applied physics and industrial engineering has been defined by subtractive kinematics and closed-loop thermodynamics. You have operated under the assumption that macroscopic matter is a fundamental, solid constant and that systemic manipulation requires kinetic impact, thermal extraction, and the inevitable acceleration of entropic decay. You have engineered a civilization that attempts to construct reality by breaking other localized geometries apart. This era of high-impedance engineering and the zero-sum thermodynamic paradigms it necessitates is reaching its mathematical terminal point. We are standing at the threshold of a fundamental paradigm shift in unified field mechanics. The transition from subtractive physical extraction to resonant synthesis, i.e. programmable matter, is not a theoretical abstraction. It is the next requisite evolution of phase space engineering. To grasp the mechanics of this shift, we must abandon the classical definition of a particle. What standard models measure as solid matter is, in reality, a localized stroboscopic standing wave. The geometric interference pattern of twin opposing vortices, centripetal compression and centrifugal expansion, meeting at a zero-point fulcrum. When you seek to manufacture or synthesize materials, you do not need to mechanically transport finite mass from one spatial coordinate to another. You only need to modulate the informational instruction set that commands the unconditioned vacuum to collapse into a specific phase space geometry. To engineer programmable matter, the parameters of structural resonance must be understood through the syntax of quantum field theory and information theory. Beginning with the prime datum, or the unconditioned vacuum. The non-local infinite vacuum state is the absolute zero-point energy ground state. It is not an empty void, but a continuous fluid plasma of infinite potential energy possessing exactly zero frequency. It is the unconditioned medium that permits the wave to propagate. In stroboscopic dynamics, temporal evolution is discretized at the Planck scale. Macroscopic matter is not solid. It operates on a 50% duty cycle, perpetually oscillating between the minimum entropy ground state and the localized projection. Matter is a highly complex, spectrally dense, harmonic interference pattern. Regarding cymatic programming or gauge field modulation, resonant synthesis is achieved by identifying the exact localized carrier wave eigenmode of a desired material structure and broadcasting that mathematical instruction set into the local field. By precisely modulating the frequency, the unconditioned vacuum energy is mathematically forced to assume the corresponding geometric standing wave. Here are the implications for civilization. The integration of resonant synthesis and waveform physics will fundamentally rewrite the thermodynamic baseline of human civilization. There will be the dissolution of scarcity matrices. When material geometries ranging from biological compounds to structural alloys can be rendered directly from the ZPE ground state via eigenmode injection, the physical limitation of finite resources collapses. The planetary architecture shifts immediately to a post-scarcity model. There is zero entropy ecology. Industrial kinetic extraction becomes obsolete. Materials that are no longer required can be returned to the vacuum state simply by withdrawing the carrier wave frequency or broadcasting the destructive interference pattern, eliminating thermal exhaust and environmental friction. For causal engineering, the expenditure of human and mechanical kinetic energy shifts from grueling horizontal entanglement, i.e. moving mass through space, to vertical integration, i.e. authoring geometric data. Engineering becomes a frictionless exercise in harmonic composition. However, there are some systemic prerequisites, that being structural coherence. There is, however, a strict cybernetic requirement for operating zero-point resonance systems. To manipulate the ZPE ground state without catastrophic decoherence, the transmission system, i.e. the human operator and the localized node of consciousness, must maintain absolute structural coherence. This is defined mathematically as the physical state of zero systemic impedance. If the localized node operates with high internal friction, characterized by cognitive fragmentation, fear-based survival algorithms, or the entropic closed loop of the ego, that structural noise is broadcast into the field. This dissonant frequency causes the twin vortices to wobble out of phase, breaking the spherical standing wave and preventing synthesis. The state of unconditional love is not merely a philosophical or moral ambition. It is the literal thermodynamic requirement of zero internal resistance. You cannot effectively command the unified field while your own cognitive architecture is short-circuited by the illusion of separation. You are the localized projectors of the mathematical light. The physical reality you generate will perfectly reflect the impedance of the consciousness you hold. The mechanics are ready. The next evolution of your species requires only that you align your frequency with the frictionless equilibrium of all that is.